Welcome everyone. Today's presentation is on digital business strategy. We'll understand why a business organization makes sense to have a presence in an online platform. So the agenda is very simple. We will understand the various models that is proposed for an e-business or electronic presence of a business. Apply tools to select an e-business strategy, as in what are the best methodologies to apply applications that needs to be taken into consideration while planning for business strategies and other alternative approaches to business strategies thereby. Yes, the management issues, what are they? Why should a business have to have has to have their presence in an online platform? How does it differs from the traditional business platform? And can these two things, the traditional business and an online platform, or the latest technology enabled platforms as the case be, can they be integrated? We need to understand their nitty-gritties, the priorities that needs to be setting into turn, and what kind of returns can be expected from a e-business. So these three business issues that needs to be addressed by this presentation. So please follow this presentation very minutely. Why do we require an e-business? Remember, it's a fusion between existing approaches to business. Existing means anything which is brick and mortar store or a retail outlet. Can we integrate it with an online presence and multiply the business volume thereby? If it is possible, why not? So in addition to the traditional approaches, we need to have innovative techniques to attract clients. Probably yes. You know what happens is when you have a website, when you have an online presence, you are not only going to attract customers within the vicinity of your location, but probably from different locations altogether. If your product is good, people are willing to pay for the money, for the quality of the product that goes around it. This business strategies actually took place in way back in the turn of centuries, when there was this hype about .com being going for a bust. So people had to mitigate, or should I mitigate risk, definitely, or should I say they innovated themselves all around it. When things changed from traditional platforms and this online presence became imperative. Now, let us understand which of the companies have actually gradually approached from traditional modalities to new businesses. Let's say the companies like Cisco, Dell, General Motors, HSBC, IBM. In Europe, it might be EasyJet, the frill-free airline companies, or British Telecom have done so, and that is the reason why they are still relevant. If you cannot or do not transform yourself and continue to do with traditional modalities of doing business, and I'm not naming the companies which have fizzled out with the period of time. So this needs to be taken into consideration. Does this mean that only traditional business can easily translate into an online platform and probably solidify their business proposition? Probably yes, but definitely no. There are other businesses who started everything on an online platforms. Let's say eBay, a renowned retail outlets or retail business outlet, which started as a marketplace. eBay and did wonderfully well. They never had a brick and mortar store. They never had a physical facility. Lastminute.com, Zopa.com, to name a few, who have this innovative business model, and they have succeeded it. That needs to be taken into consideration. So what is business strategy? A digital one that I'm talking about it. Way back, approximately 16 years back, Johnson and Scholes said, what is corporate strategy? It's the direction, the scope of an organization over the long term. What achieves advantages for the organization through its configuration of resources within the changing environment to meet the need of the market and to fulfill the shareholders' expectations. And that is what a corporate strategy is all about. It. We are talking about a long-term planning. In 2006, Johnson and Scholes said it. 16 years hence, it is still relevant as of this definition is concerned. Why? Because it says as the environment changes, the business has to adapt to the changes and probably make itself relevant to fulfill the shareholders' expectation, to fulfill the customer retention, and so on. So, definition of the approaches by which application of internal, external communication can be supported and influence the corporate strategy thereof. Lynch, approximately 22 years back, said the strategy of an organization is a sense of purpose. We are not looking at why the purpose alone should be the reason for strategy. probably plans and actions are also required, probably steps to do it, to achieve those strategies, achieve those purposes are very much pertinent. So yes, e-business have many things which is common with the corporate strategies, business strategies, and marketing strategies. I will be showing it to the next slide. And I am going to introduce you to certain quotes which probably more often than not you have heard it once, twice, or many more times. Let's say is based on a current performance in the marketplace. One of the parlance that goes around it defines how we will meet our objective. Another parlance that comes around it sets allocation of resources to meet goals. Select preferred strategic options to complete within a market. Provides a long-term plan for the development of the organization. Look, these are things that we have already come across. We have already heard about it once, twice, or over a period of time. Identifies competitive advantages through developing an appropriate position, defining a value proposition delivered to the customers segment thereby. So yes, we should be talking around it. This is a different form of organizational strategy that comes around. In the corporate strategy, we have the business unit strategy, the regional strategies, the functional strategies. Remember, even in traditional mode, this is what is being present. Now we need to integrate with a typical A business plan. Business plan for business unit, business plan for regional strategies, business plan for functional strategies, as the case might be. The imperative of e-business. Remember why we should have an e-business, because of the missed opportunities, on the lack of evaluation of opportunities. Now, why this lack of evaluation? Because I say many of us, most of us, and in fact, research says approximately 120 to 180 minutes approximately on an average are time spent on an online medium. It might be a social medium. So if most of my customers are there in the social media and online platform, don't you think for a business to be having presence in an online platform is a must? Why? Because then you will not be able to miss any opportunities there. But inappropriate directions, definitely yes. You might have an inappropriate direction in the sense you might have a website, but you have not marketed it well. So people who are known to you are only visiting your website, but website is being created, has been hosted just for the fact that people who are not aware of you should also come to know about you. So inappropriate direction, this needs to be eliminated. Limited integration of e-business at technical levels, or should I say everything is working in silos. We have an e-business, they work in tandem with within themselves. We have a traditional business, we are doing a marketing on within themselves. They are spending money, but for themselves and in their silos they're working. Can we integrate them? Can we have a synergy built upon them, both the traditional methods of marketing and the digital marketing business scenario, as the case might be? Resource wastage through duplication of e-business development in different functions, limited sharing of best practices. For instance, each business units or region may develop a separate website with different suppliers without achieving economies of scale. It is very bare minimum that is being spent required when compared to a marketing budget in a traditional media. This needs to be done. Therefore, e-channel strategies, an important aspect of e-business strategy is that they create a new e-channel strategies for organization. What are they? They are talking about specific goals and approaches for electronic channel. Now, what are the specific goals? It might be to develop leads in terms of mobile number, leads in terms of email ID. It might be developing website visits, people who are coming to your landing pages of your website. It might lead to responses or a communication in terms of emails, in terms of feedback, in terms of way you want to go around it. So every platform has their own unique requirements, and accordingly if we can do around it. So each channel strategies also needs to define how electronic channels are used in conjunction with the multi-channel e-business strategy. This multi-channel e-business strategy defines how different marketing and supply chain channels should integrate and support each other's in terms of propositions, development, and communication based on the relative merit for the customers and the company thereby. Strategy process model for e-business is all about providing a framework that gives a logical sequence to follow to ensure inclusions of all key activities. of e-business strategy development. It also ensures that e-business strategy can be evolved as a part of a process of a continuous improvement over a period of time. It is what we are determined to do around here. So let us have a sell side strategy. Let us have the fact that I am a business and I'm looking to sell it over online platform or ECRM, electronic customer relationship management strategy. Sell side e-commerce strategy. What are we looking into it? We are trying to hit a channel with leads in terms of mobile number, leads in terms of email ID, leads in terms of social media handler ideas of the each customer, and probably then we can focus them and focus on them and tailor-made product for them or the options for them in terms of acquisition, conversion, retention, profitability, and services. Communicate benefit of this channel. Prioritize product availability through this channel. Prioritize audience targeting, as I have been saying around it, and select partners for them. So it is differential. Channel strategies might be differential, but needs to be managed within the organization or integrated. Now let us have a buy side option also. Buy side e-commerce is about maximizing operational. Remember, if we can buy at a right price, we make profit in a huge number. If we can sell at the right price, we make a profit at a huge number. But what happens with selling is everybody is selling at the same price point. You are selling it, your competitors are also selling it. So how do you make more profit? If you can buy at lower prices, that's the only way to make profit with this competitive world. So buy side e-commerce strategies are all about maximizing operational efficiency while improving customer quality. Operational efficiencies keeps should drive our strategy. This is what we looking into it. Our buy e-commerce strategies define how to automate internal processes, link internal resources management system with external purchase system, prioritize suppliers, partners, collaborating using this channel, and prioritizing applications for e-supply chain management and create a roadmap thereby. This is what we are looking for, a buy side e-commerce strategies as the case might be. Let us understand the e-business strategies and other strategies. Look, this is the corporate strategy. This is the IT, all about it, all the chapter. So we have the supply channel things coming around here. We have the marketing strategy that comes around here. We need to work upon it. E-business strategies which leads to the other one. So what happened when there is no e-businesses? Missed opportunities for additional sales on one of the sales side, more efficient purchases on the buy side, fall behind competitors in delivering online services may become too difficult to catch up. Remember what is happening with Tesco, Dell, poor customer experience from poor integrated channel, and things are not as profitable for either of the Dell or Tesco thereby. So we need to understand the missed opportunity for additional sales. You will fall behind your competitors if you are not being accessible, not being able to respond to your customer promptly, as the case might be. So strategic analysis, we have the external environment, internal environment. We have something which we known as the techniques that comes up on the social, legal, ethical, economical, political, and technological. This is the technique that comes around it, as far as which are the social things, which are the cultural thing, the political thing, legal thing. One particular audience, one particular cluster of your audience will be celebrating certain festivals, certain holidays together. So can we target them at that point of time? Then we have something called resources, as an internal resources comes around it. It is all about resources analysis, portfolio analysis, depending upon the number of products that is being promoted by your company. SWOT analysis, we'll talk about it in this particular presentation. Demand analysis, competitor analysis thereby. So yes, if we can integrate both the external environment and the internal resources. External environment remains the social, legal, ethical, economical, political, and technological. If we can integrate with them, we come up with something called an e-business specific technique. Stages of e-business development: assessing sell side, assessing buy side, assessing value networking opportunities thereby. This is what is very important. Element of strategic situation analysis for e-business, we are talking about collecting and reviewing information, collecting from from your end customers, from your supply chain, what are the data that is required. We look for the processes, external marketplaces factors in to inform the strategy definition. For effective responsiveness, e-business, as explained earlier, we will be talking about this situation analysis. The environmental scanning needs to be done on a continuous basis, has to be performed then and there. Now, let us understand the summary application of portfolio analysis. For example, the B2B company, as the case might be. On the x-axis is the current importance of IT, and on the y-axis is the future importance of IT. So when current and future is always low, we are looking at HR support system. Remember, but when the current system is very high, we are looking at production line system as on when on basis. It can be mass production, it can be cluster production, it can be made to order, it can be customized, it can be mass production altogether. So we are looking at the production. The current information system is very high, the demand is very high, the demand is changing, so we need to keep on changing around it. But what happened when the current information system is low and the future strategic importance is very high? So we are being future oriented. Now this is a place where we are looking and designing electronic catalog, e-commerce system, customer intelligence, and CRM system. So this is what is the requirement. This we are beware, it's a high potential area, right? We are aware of it, but probably we need to take steps and promote ourselves, build our capabilities out here. But when future strategic importance and current strategic importance both are very high for IT system, this is where we need to build our core competencies in terms of procurement system, stock control system, distribution system, as the case might be. So summary applications of portfolio analysis, let's say for a B2B company, yes, in a current application such as human resources, financial management, production line management will continue to support the operations, will continue to support the businesses, will not be a priority for future because these things, HR, finance, production line management will be automated over a period of time, will have a check and balance system altogether. So what is required? We require a dynamic customer catalog online sales, collecting marketing intelligence about customer buying behavior will become much more important, much more imperative, and it cannot be neglected at any cases. Did I say I'll be speaking about the SWOT analysis? Here we go. You have the organization, the strength and weakness and opportunities and threats. With everything you have certain of the strategies that comes around it. So let us understand strength being your brand, your customer base, your distribution. Weakness is your perception of your brand, intermediary use, technology which might be outdated, cross-channel support. What are the opportunities? You can cross-sell with traditional and digital medium, new markets, new services, alliances, co-branding can be done. Threats are customer choice because customers are spoiled with choices now, new entrants, new competitive products, and channel conflict. So what are the strengths and opportunities? It tells me you can go for an attacking strategies. You have opportunities and this is in your playing field. Please go ahead and attack, do your best thing. But if there are opportunities and it is all about your weaknesses, now what are we looking into it? We like to defend our portfolio, defend our marketplace, so build strength for attacking the synergy. So we need to play safe first and first foremost, defend everything that is there within our realm of things, and thereby build upon it for attacking strategies. What happens when we have the strength and there is something called threat that comes around it? This is absolute defense strategies wherein we leverage strength to minimize. We do not ignore, but we do not lose our ground altogether. In case if it is weaknesses and threats altogether, this is where we are looking to plan to build the capacity. We are going to go on a defensive mode, or should I say the stealth mode. We are going behind the curtains and probably planning it out before executing the tasks for an attack strategies thereby. So SWOT analysis is relatively very simple but very powerful tool for organization to understand their internal resources in terms of their strengths and weaknesses and match them with an external environment in terms of opportunities and threats. Remember, in e-business, the SWOT analysis can combine everything with the corporate marketing supply chain information, or a separate SWOT can be done for every of the things as in marketing, supply chain information, and corporate thing. SWOT analysis is of a greatest value when it is used not only to analyze the current situation, but also as a tool of formulating strategies. To achieve this, it is useful once the strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats have been allowed. We need to go around it. This format of SWOT is recommended over a typical absolutely four box SWOT that I've just shown it to you. It can be used to develop strategies thereby Let us come to the Michael E. Porter's five forces strategies. It is the bargaining power of the customer, the threat of the substitute, the threat of the new entrant, the extent of rivalry between competitors, and the power of supply. Now, these five things, remember, these five things can affect the business adversely. Absolutely. It's your competitors, it is your bargaining power of your customers or your suppliers that will make all the differences. So we need to understand this and mitigate this. So let us understand the impact of internet. How do we go around it? Below here, if you look into it, banking, supermarkets, oil industry, rail industry, everything has catapulted by the internet. They have increased their business, they have increased the accessibility, they have increased the transparency about how things have been working, and people do try to tend to trust more. So matrix for evaluation of external capabilities against internal capabilities. So market driving strategies, when internal capability is high and external capability is low. What happens when external forces are low and internal capacity or incentive is also low? So you actually don't bother. Things are not making any sense to make an investment out here. But when external forces are or incentives are high and marketing capacity or capabilities is very low, so why don't you build your capacities? Try to build the market for yourself from transition to the electronic commerce. And when both internal and external in terms of capabilities and incentives are high, it is a market driven strategy. It is you are dancing to the tunes of the customers or the markets or the competitors, whatever they are doing or forced to do around it. So matrix for evaluation of external capabilities against internal capabilities. Evaluation of internal resources can be balanced against external resources. Matrix where there are four quadrants that business within a market may occupy to the development of e-business strategies. Market driving strategies, as the case might be, we can have the capability building strategies, market driven strategies, and status quo thereby. If we can come across with it, if we can manage the show out then and there, this is what we are looking forward to it. So market driven strategies, yes, definitely yes. If there are high internal capabilities and incentive, capability is low internal capabilities and high external forces, as I've just shown you in the previous slide thereby. So these are the strategies that comes into play every time, all the time. Now, what are we talking about it? About the strategic objectives and the e-business modalities. How do we go into it? In terms of vision, mission, and objective, definitely yes. In terms of vision, what do we replace or do we complement? Do we adapt? Do we co-adapt or co-brand? Do we extend our adaptability needed? Similarly, objectives become smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound objective. Online revenue contributions, customer value targets, balanced scorecard, as the case might be. We are talking about vision, about capability to change, to reinvent, online revenue contributions, thereby how to go across with it. Element of strategic objectives, setting of e-businesses is to be taken into consideration. We are talking in terms of strategy definitions, implementation, effect of the strategies. The overall success of e-business depends upon when we compare the actual results against the set objectives, and we can have a real-time basis of information as if we are achieving going on the right path or we are swaying away from the right path. So there are corrective measures that can be taken from time to time. It is a very clear realistic objective which help us to communicate the achievement of the goals and the significance of e-business thereby. So we'll talk about defining the vision, defining the mission, as the statement is all about it. In e-businesses, it is very concise statement, defining the scope and the broad aim of the digital channels in future. Way back in 2008, Jealousy and Enders explained that developing missions should provide the definition of business scope, unique competencies, and values. So we are trying to answer three questions: where, how, and why. Business scope, where is my client, where is my customer base? Understand those things. Unique competencies, how are we different from the other other person, other competitors? How do we make an impact, make a impression upon the end customers? So that's my unique competence, and why it's very less included, less commonly included, but it is an emotion that comes around it. It might be a value for money. It might be traditionally it has been done. It has been the quality conscious that comes around it. It's a brand that is making an appeal for it. So we need to understand the vision and mission in terms of business scope, unique competencies, and values thereby. Giving you an example out here, let's say for Amazon.com, our vision is to be Earth's most customer-centric company, to build a place where people can come, find, and discover anything that they might want to buy online. Vision and mission of an Amazon. Let me tell you about Dell. Dell listens to the customer, deliver innovative technology and services that they can value and trust. On the other hand, eBay pioneers communities built on commerce, sustained by trust, inspired by opportunities. eBay brings together millions of people every day on a local, national, international basis through an array of websites that focuses on commerce, payments, and communication. The most important social media platform, Facebook. What are the mission statement? Facebook is a social utility that helps people communicate more efficiently with their friends, families, and co-workers. The company develops technologies that facilitate the sharing of information through the social graph, the digital mapping of people, real world social connection. Anyone can sign up for Facebook and interact with people they know in a trusted environment. And the last one, the most prominent of the websites is Google. Google mission is to organize world's information and make it universally accessible and useful thereby. So this is what the customers and market are all about it. We are talking about reducing cost. We are talking about managing risk. We are talking about the new reality. Absolutely, yes. This is what comes around it, and there can be n numbers of organization, not A, B, and C. There can be D, E, F, G, H. Everybody has a role to play. Everybody has a niche that they can cash upon it. Example of converging a models for an online retailer. Let us understand why the potential impact of digital channel is so useful. Let's say the phone numbers which are unique to the website can be used to indicate the volumes of caller to contact a center influenced by a website. Now this tells me how to build up a budget model for a sales level through a number of customer inquiry that comes around it. So if there are 100,000 unique visitors in a period, we can determine 5% can be an offline sale. So they will be researching online and probably purchasing offline per se. So that is what has been given out here. As in an x-axis, the product suitability opportunity risk and the market adaptability propensity for the online purchases as the case might go. And this is what we are talking about it. Let's say professional services, absolutely low. We want to have a person, we want to see the person with whom we are working around it. It can be a beauty parlor, it can be a legal services, professional services, chemical manufacturers to something called traditional books and CDs, which can be purchased offline, which should be purchased online and offline both altogether, but the propensity of purchasing it in online would be much more higher vis-a-vis the professional services which will be actually be accessed through an offline fashion. So let us understand the strategy definitions. Yes, about the option generation, evaluation, and selection. All about option generation, evaluation, and strategy selection. There are a decision that needs to be taken around it. We need to prioritize, choose the e-channel, e-business channel, the product in the market that needs to be looked into. Positional and differentiation strategies as to what your unique sales propositions are all about it. Business and revenue models. Is it to be a discount model? Is it to be a volume model? Is it to be a niche model? Marketplace restructuring, supply chain management capabilities, internal knowledge management capabilities. This what we are looking forward to. Let us understand the figure elements. Why do we go around it? First and foremost, understanding is we have decided upon the channel, we have decided upon the strategies, we have decided upon the budget. Now, what is the return on investment that comes around it? If we can have it, the return on investment, and how does it compare with the traditional marketing strategy? You will be able to take that key strategic decisions. Absolutely, the return on investment as far as the marketing things are concerned. So they will be reviewing these options, selecting them. So we can consider by sell side aspect of any business and then review by a buy side aspect thereby. So yes, we are talking about a lot of things out there. So matrix for evaluating business strategies. How do we go around it? E-consultancies recommends a portfolio of analysis on the basis of benchmark e-commerce capabilities. What are they? The five used organizational criteria. What are we looking into it? First is business value generated. Approximately 50% weightage has been given around here. Approximately. It should be incremental financial benefits of a project. You have to have a presence in an online medium, but that online medium, the presence should be monetized. It should transform into some sort of sales, as the case might be. Customer value generations is approximately weighted around 20%, where it is your communication with the customers, your feedback, your responses. Continuous communication is all about engagement with the customer. So that is what been enabled with an e-line or e-business strategies. Alignment with the business strategy is 10%, alignment with the digital strategy is 10%, and alignment with the brand value definitely builds on the branding things. So this in altogether makes sense for your business strategy alternatives altogether. So yes, on an y-axis, the change required, which we are looking slowly and steadily with no changes to absolute changes. And similarly, on percentage of online revenue, when there are no changes, it is traditional mode, so there are no revenues, and then it goes high. It goes improves when we are inculcating changes on your y-axis. So from brick and mortar information to a digital channels, there are a mix of brick and mortars and digital channels, and it can be completely digitalized as such, as the case might be. Strategic option for a company in relation to the importance of an internet as a channel, we talk about it, is e-business. We are looking at getting the right mix of bricks and clicks, absolutely having the right presence of online presence and the traditional models too, wherein a customer can actually walk into the retail outlet of a company, have an experience about it, probably might at his or her convenience opt for a offline purchase or an online purchase, but the customer has the flexibility to choose any one of them, right? So have the right mix. Expression refers to a sell-side e-commerce. The general options for brick and clicks. This summarizes the organizational commitment to e-commerce and its implications thereby. The other strategy that follows are for the online revenue or contribution that comes around it. We talk about the product growth and the market growth. Remember, when the product is absolutely more or less monotonous and the market is more or less very stable, we are talking about market penetration strategies. Now this is where you want to bring down the cost availability of the cost price for the end customers and probably try to build up a market around here. And it might be through sales, it might be through volumes or reducing the volume, probably making it more affordable, whatever way you want to go around it. But what happens when the product growth is still minimum, but the market, we are looking into a newer market wherein your presence was absolutely missing. So we are using internet for targeting the end customers. Why? Because that's the cheapest mode of targeting them and able to understand them, engage with them. So new geographic market, new customer segment. We talking about diversification strategies when there is new market and new product altogether. So this is the case where there's not only new markets but also new products altogether. So we're looking again the internet support for marketing related activities, making awareness. But when there are new products and the market is already saturated, we are talking about product development, variations in product as such. So adding value to the existing products, developing digital products, and thereby using internet to support different growth strategies. One of the best methodologies to go around it is market penetration. Internet gives us a cost effective way of marketing our products, marketing our business thereby, because we can easily measure the return on the investment that we are making around here. So it makes sense to have a digital presence. The main way in which internet can be used is market share growth, customer loyalty improvement, and customer improvement, value improvement. Now, what is value improvement? Say, for the first time, the customer purchases a $1 product, but slowly and steadily, once the customer gets hooked to your product, hooked to your brand, hooked to your experiences, that $1 will escalate to $5 to $10 to $20 to $25 and so on and so forth. So your customer value improvement, it's the same customer, but this time the customer is making big ticket purchase from your end. So that is not only value but also loyalty. That is not only loyalty but also market share. So we are talking about market development, we are talking about the product development, we are talking about the diversification in terms of not only product increase in the portfolio of the product, but increase in the number of the geographic presence of the market. Product development, we might be building up value added products towards it, diversification within the product category. Market development is when we are venturing into a newer market every now and then. Last for the last slide for this particular presentation is where we are talking about the strategy implementation in terms of planning, execution, and control. We are talking everything that comes with supply chain strategies, e-marketing strategies, planning and scheduling of the changes, and so on and so forth. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have understood the digital business strategy thereby. Thank you once again.